Awesome. All
Isn't that
right.
button? Yes.
Button has been pressed. Look at that. Look at the smack. Woo! Hey, Enid. It's good to see you. It's
Hey.
Enid is now greened.
I know she's the greened
Yes.
one. And congratulations to Enid and Lux for their new title here. Thank you. It's so cool to see you guys level up like that. You guys are amazing people. So I couldn't think of better new mods for MJ. I'm going for that flying mount. Yeah, yeah, you better. Okay, all right, we're here, and Rhapsody's here too in my house. This is nuts.
Yes.
This is nuts.
Upon request, I go up there and poke him.
And you do have the loading icon on your forehead, by the way, Raps. Just letting you know.
Oh,
The
yeah.
Okay, I saw your whimsical wizard in the recent MJ magazine. He's fantastic. Great job for Hillgarden. Hey, Hillgarden. I trolled for you. Good to see you, man. Yeah, it's so weird. It also so fun to have Raps and I not just in the same house and whatnot. We've been traveling and having a great time, just hanging out. Oh, that's right. I gotta click that damn button over here. Just a second.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. And webcam turn on. Boop. Ta-da! Ta-da! You guys can see now. You're not blind. Woohoo! Yeah, awesome,
Woohoo!
awesome. Boop. Yeah, boop. All right, guys. Not just me getting discorded then. Yeah. You're good. You're good. That's just classic me forgetting to hit another button. So, perfect. All right, we're all here, and like I said, having Rhapsody here has been so much fun. To just hang out and just I don't know, just actually see each other in person for the first time was such a trip. Like we were literally commenting when I picked her up at O'Hare Airport about how if I'm not looking at her, everything makes sense. like
Yes.
yeah, like
Oh
like
God, this is so weird.
yeah. And then as soon as I'm looking, I'm like, this is a trip. It was a lot of fun though. It took some adjustment though. It took like one.
So,
It took some hanging out.
yeah. To explain this a little bit better, there was a disconnect between what we saw and what we heard and felt was correct. Like when I looked outside of the window and I heard Victor, then it was just like another Discord call. But the moment I looked at him, it was like something's wrong here.
Have you guys ever seen each other's faces before? Did you like ever share pictures or?
I mean, not
We
really.
shared some pictures,
Nothing like
not really.
not really. No, I mean, like I had seen plenty of like little moments and things like caught like maybe the side of the face in a photo or something like that. But I never like sent a full body like image of myself to Rhapsody. I want to, and I also kind of intentionally did that so it's a bit of a surprise too because I don't look like Victor. Like I'm a dude. I'm not a lanky Nightmare Before Christmas looking character, like
Uh-huh.
lanky anime character, right? So. It was fun. Wait, what? Yeah, I don't believe that. Yeah. Luckily, I'm not like an anthropomorphic character because I felt like that'd be a little even harder to to make the jump. What? You don't look like yourself, right?
He's
Yeah.
only about 75. He's only about 75% that. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's correct.
I'm close to his Payless list, so at least there's that. Yeah, you look like Victor to us. Yeah, exactly. I won't ruin the illusion anymore for you guys though. I imagine Rhapsody looks exactly like she does. Yeah. Um, let's see here. So I do want to mention really quick. We're going to start things off here in a pretty fun way. I actually made a mood board of some of our photos from our trip to Chicago, and we'll get into plenty of like explaining because we did so much stuff. We had so much fun. We ate too much food. We ate way too much food. I felt like Chicago
Yeah.
was mostly a food tour. But what I've done here is I have made a mood board of the trip, and I've called it Chicago in all caps here. And it features a bunch of pictures of our trip. And what I'm going to do for you guys is, first off, I'm going to link it here inside of VC text for you guys to start playing around with. No, you need explaining. Let's see here. So here's the mood board. You're welcome to click it and take a look at the photos. But we're gonna be playing around with this mood board today, because I did get some really fun live action stuff right off the bat. If you do try to prompt like animation stuff or anything animated, it's a little wonky, right? Obviously, there's not a single animated thing in these fixtures, but we just it's too fun. It's too fun to play around with these photos, and we're gonna do some live action in painting today too, where we're gonna put Rhapsody and myself inside of these photos, so that we can show you guys exactly how to do that. At least with your characters, we'll probably be using Niji6 a lot, to get us an anime aesthetic for our characters. But let me just do the little intro for everybody who's new here. First off, hi, I am Victor Gnarly. I'm a former visual effects artist with Cartoon Network. I worked on shows like Robot Chicken, Moral Oral, and a handful of others. I'm also joined with Rhapsody in person. And Rhapsody, thank you so much for doing all this. It's been a blessing to have you around and making this happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Rhapsody. Former, former Apple creative multimedia consultant and now community lead manager, whatever, it doesn't matter. Community person for Nali Studios.
Yeah, and we're also joined here with AC and Kinky from Midjourney. Thank you
Hello.
guys. Yeah, thank all of you guys so much for being here. Yeah, hello. And I do also want to mention that I'm very curious to see what you guys are able to do when it comes to using these mood boards. So just already start going ham inside of VC Create. Everything that we do here is on Discord, so you'll find VC Create on just above the stage here. There you go. Here's VC Create. If you click on that, you'll be able to start generating with us where we can collaborate and make things together. Thank you so much for linking that to Kinky inside of VC Text. VC Text just above that is where we're going to be chatting today. It's where the text you're seeing flowing behind me is. And it lets us be able to collaborate in real time with with Midjourney, and it's just such a fun way to do things. I really hope that you make your voice heard and let us know like what you're doing, especially if you start messing around with some of the stuff we got. So now I do want to show something that I thought was pretty interesting when it comes to working with the mood board here. So one of the first things I started experimenting with was just single word prompts, right? Just to give me an idea of kind of the stuff I get. And if I actually put, let's see here, I got to make sure I get the right window open here. I have Midjourney's website here, midjourney.com, which we'll sometimes be hopping to in order to use the external editor and a couple other features here. But just running Chicago alone gives us a really great live action sort of setup here. It's pretty on point. It's pretty awesome. I want to see what you guys do, but I want to show something here, which is that I use the word fantasy and I was able to generate this really cool image. I just dig having these two characters behind each other. And the thing is about this is that when we run this as video, which you do just by clicking the animate button here on let's upscale this one, for example. Yeah, and so when we run this as a video with animate low or animate high, it gives us a very similar result, which is it just kind of slowly zooms in between the characters' heads because it's just the default prompt. It's the word fantasy. It doesn't actually describe anything that we want to see in the video. But what I found really interesting, and I'm just going to link this inside of VC Create using the job ID. So if you do have any prompts that you like, the recommendation here is to just click on the More button on the website, hit Copy, and then Job ID. What this will let you do is go to VC Create or any other Discord channel, really, and lets you share your creations directly from Midjourney. So we can now hit /show and then paste the job ID. and that will let us be able to see, or at least let everyone else jump in and start collaborating on your stuff. Oh, cool! We're already getting some stuff from you guys. I cannot wait to dig through this. Please go nuts! Please go nuts with this mood board. We don't normally do live action stuff on this stream, but this might be a bit of an exception because of just how powerful the Chicago prompts are for this. But what I wanted to show you guys is that with the previous version of this, we were just getting slow zooms past their heads, regardless of whatever motion setting we were using. But if I wanted to say have us follow the characters, we could go out of our way to start describing how the characters move or anything like that. Or we can start to think about like other films, other movies that kind of help us figure out, like, or at least give us some inspiration to do what we intended to do. And at least for me, what I intended to do was I wanted to watch these characters moving through this scene. So only thing I did for this was I wrote Gus Van Sant film. And if you're not familiar with Gus Van Sant, it's like the movie Elephant and whatnot, which is just characters fall, like you're a lot of times behind the heads of the characters and you're following them in the world. So by writing Gus Van Sant film, we literally can watch them moving in the movie, which is just cool. It's just really, really neat way to do it because we understand, like, at least from a cinematography perspective, what you can do with this. And it just gives us a starting point to how we can direct to video in Midjourney. So look at that. That's awesome. I guess they want to go swim for a swim in the fountain. Okay, let's pick one of these and say that exactly. Actually, so I'm gonna pick one. Let's see which one has the smoothest motion for that. I would say the second one feels probably the best. Maybe the fourth. Let's compare the second and the fourth one. Yeah, I'm gonna go with the second one here. So we upscale that. Boop boop. Okay. And so we can now hit extend either high motion or low motion. But if we wanted to redirect this film and rather just say whatever is in the prompt here, we have to make sure that remix mode is on here in Discord. So /settings, hit your settings, and then make sure the remix mode button is turned on. By doing that, that means that every time we hit either of these buttons down here, it will allow us to rewrite the prompt. So let's do a high motion and say, what is it? 2 fantasy characters dive into the fountain. Let's see. Do you have a summary of these directors guiding? Okay, all right. I do not have a summary of every major director and their styles of direction and whatnot. No. I don't have anything like that. You guys are going to have to do that yourself in order to, like, it really does help to have a robust film knowledge when using AI video. It gives you a starting point, but also more importantly, it gives you the film terminology that will be helpful for you. I'm just going to emphasize here. You can use the shot lists and stuff that we have on our server to be able to help guide the exact kind of shot that you want. Like, say we wanted to move on to a satellite view or an aerial view of this moment, we just ask for that, and then we go from there. But on our server, I will link this for you guys as well. Thank you so much for linking the server there, Kinky. You will find something called the knowledge base. If you click on the knowledge base on the Gnarly Studios server, you'll see that we have a list of common shot compositions. And if you click that, you'll get a massive list of just generic shot compositions that are very popular or just like I said, common in film and TV. So I would say that 98% of the movies that you could make ever include one of these, like is covered in these shots here. So you should be good to start messing with that. There is also a film shot randomizer that Rhapsody vibe coded for us as well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and if you don't mind at some point just linking that inside. Yeah, and if you don't mind, also link it inside of the list of common shot compositions, just because I feel like that would be an easy place to get it in the future. Yeah. So the thing about this is that let's go ahead and try to get our characters jumping into the fountain here. 2 fantasy characters dive into the fountain. Let's just do that first. If we wanted to go farther, if we want to go harder on what the result is here, we basically first run the video to get an idea, and then see how we have to adjust the prompt as needed. We basically just re-roll it from there. Are we getting cat girls already, Golem? Of course. Oh, look at these Chicago cat girls. Oh my god. I feel like if I mean outside of the ears and whatnot, I felt like we walked by at least these women at least once. Especially
Can we
being
can we rename it Shakat Girl?
cat girl.
Shakat Girl.
Yeah, it is certainly true that I felt like when we were in Boys Town, we definitely walked past one or two of these girls. Maybe one of them had cat ears. I just didn't notice. Oh, that's right. I got to turn off turbo mode. Hold on, just a second, guys. Settings, and a reason I. Oh, that's right. I'm just gonna write fast for myself. This is not something that you guys have to do. But if I, yeah, I probably should just set it so that I don't have to keep making that adjustment. And let's see here. Okay, switching from turbo mode to fast mode. There we go. Let me re-roll this again and get us this dive. So we're just going to change this prompt now to 2 fantasy characters. Dive into the fountain. All right, submit. Oh, thank you so much for linking that, Rhapsody. Rhapsody. Just laughing at her name here. Rhapsody. And here is the. Here is the shot randomizer from Rhapsody. And what's really cool about this is that it cuts out the construction side of it, so you can just kind of make a complex direction without having to memorize or otherwise be super familiar with shot composition. So let's just try re-rolling this, and you can actually smash this button a couple times and re-roll it for a good minute, so it's a little entertaining here. Look at this go. All right, so the 2 shots that we randomized here is a Dutch angle tilted, which is a diagonal horizon conveys unease, tension, or disorientation, moving to a push in, pull out, which is the camera moves towards or away from the actor while they remain still. So what this does is it gives you a starting point and an end point, or at least a midpoint, that you can use to just help your your knowledge of what exactly is happening when you are directing with AI video. And yeah, it's just a really fun way to get into it. So yeah, feel free to start messing with that as well. But for now, we are going to get into whatever result we got off of this video prompt extension. So let's see here, and then I'll check out everything you guys are doing here. Let's see what we got. All right, so we can kind of see at this point that there is a little bit of misunderstanding of like the scaling of these characters, right? But we do have at least the second one has some sort of like it doesn't introduce any new artifacts and stuff. If we picked one where we could still see the bottom of the fountain, I think we'd be better off. It almost feels like they're about to like fall head first into the fountain as opposed to diving in at a realistic scale. So I almost want to say that they like topple into the fountain as opposed to diving in, because I feel like diving is encouraging video data that is relying on the idea of like jumping off a cliff or jumping into a big body of water. So why don't we do this instead? So we say 2 fantasy characters falling into the fountain. And that way, maybe they just kind of like, and just to somewhat evoke this with my VTuber here, they just kind of tip over into there. So it's like falling and tipping over might be a good secondary prompt for this. But let's just re-roll that and then submit. And while that's rendering, I'm going to scroll all the way back up and check out what you guys are doing. So let's see, because we already have a bunch of fun stuff from you guys, and you can use the prompt right now. by copying this one right here. It's HPSHQ1N. And so if I say, I'm just going to link that for you guys here inside of VC text so you have it, and make sure that we describe that as the Chicago mood board code. Even though we linked it earlier for the full the full mood board, which we will explore here in a minute in order to show you guys some of our photos. But I want to see what you guys are already doing with it. So let me scroll up as far as I can until I stop seeing. Okay, all right. So first one is Gon Pasta's cinematic fantasy anime of a cat girl with short, white, messy hair, red eyes, red glasses, cat ears, exploring the mysterious fantasy location. And you could see that the prompt itself is actually very far away from what is inside the mood board, because it is literally just a bunch of photos of our trip, right? So it's all live action stuff that's here. But by writing in the prompt that you want this to be a cinematic fantasy anime, it does a lot of work to get us there, but you'll notice the effect of the mood board and how much power it has to put these characters inside of a more live action space, at least for the most part. It almost looks like they're like looking up at like some of the alleyways that we saw. But if we now see here, it's very similar to this result as well. It's kind of, they're all kind of inside of a bigger space than we might normally see with Midjourney. But Bert did something really cool. I actually really love doing this sort of prompting, which is, at least Fnuckle and I had nicknamed void prompting, where you have two quotes. That's the only thing in your prompt is two quotes, so that it kind of taps into a different area of latent space. It taps into a place that's normally used for like text and speech bubbles and all that kind of stuff. And so by using that, it relies entirely on whatever's in the mood board or whatever's in your profile to do it. And there's another profile that's attached here. I'm curious what this profile is, Bert. If you get a chance, if you hear this, feel free to let us know what SWD2DQL is. I'm curious. A ranked profile. Oh, okay. Just mostly photos. Nice. It leans into dark imagery. Ooh. And I can kind of tell that only because like we're getting an element of like almost like uncomfortable, like horror a little bit. Like this is clearly a girl screaming at camera and all that stuff. That's pretty cool though. I dig it. Two people having fun. Yeah. This is from Fungi Mancer. And it's also using an additional profile on here, but yeah, they're all certainly having fun, and for some reason they're all sticking their tongue out at camera.
I guess sticking your tongue out is just having fun.
It's the definition of fun. Tongues out. If I feel like if this was all photos based on like the mid 2000s, they'd all be doing duck face. But yeah, let's check this out now. We have also Urban Fantasy from Bert, using that same additional dark profile that's there. And I love the gothy nature of this immediately. Like, I mean, these girls all look pretty cool. I dig it. And it does feel very much like there's an element of grime that's there, and that's all because of the couple of graffiti images, because I love graffiti. I love street art. It's probably my favorite thing to go find and just happen upon when I'm exploring cities. It's been a while since I've been in Chicago. The last time I was in Chicago was for Pokemon Go Fest in 2017, which was an utter disaster. I won't repeat my stories again. I've said that a couple times. But I'm just saying this. If you go on YouTube and search Pokemon Go Fest cringe cut, you'll have a lot of fun. I was there for that. But here's the thing. I love the graffiti that we see throughout the images here. So it's like, this is a pretty good graffiti mood board, honestly. There is a couple. I will say there's also one giant piece of like a mural that was, put up on the side of a building to be advertisement for, or not an advertisement, but just showing off to the folks driving on the highway. I swear it looks like a ChatGPT image. I didn't take a picture of it, but there's at least one piece of like what I think is a giant blow up of AI art in Chicago. But if we look at some of these images here, like for example, the move along Coffee, which was where I got my coffee every morning. We got an Airbnb when we were there, and I'm so glad that there's just so much like fun expression everywhere in Chicago. I really love that city. But let's keep looking at some of what you guys are making here, because I know that we're going to get a lot of graffiti. I know that we're going to get a lot of like interesting. Uh, I don't exactly know the name of the architecture. It's very Spanish architecture in the around the human bean, or not the human bean, just the bean. The Cloud Gate is the official name of it. But everyone calls it the bean. Um, we also found out that there's this kind
Yeah,
of
Cloudgate.
yeah, Cloudgate, yeah. The we found out that there's this
Oh
meme.
yeah. Oh my God, the protesters.
Yes,
Yeah.
we found out that there's some protesters outside the bean, and they were all. What was the phrase? It was like here, here, let them. Basically the meme is that there's supposedly a man trapped
We're
inside.
loud. We're mean. We're loud. We're mean. There's a man inside the bean.
Yes, exactly. And the meme was that there's a man stuck inside the bean somewhere, and we were just laughing at the idea that he's like, embracing every person that comes and touches the bean, like he just wants to be outside and be a normal person, but he's stuck in there. So it got to the point where like the city commissioner of Chicago had to respond that one, that there wasn't a man in the bean, but two, that the general public was wasting all of his official city time having to field calls about the man stuck inside the bean. The whole thing made me laugh so hard. It was great. But the point is that I wanted to point out here is that everything around this park is Spanish inspired. So like there was a lot of really interesting results that I feel like come out of that as well inside of this mood board. Let's see here. Let's keep on going down VC Create here. A couple more from Golem again with that same prompt with the cinematic fantasy photo. But now, urban fantasy screen grab, two subject, elves set in Chicago, towering world in the background. Okay, cool. This one's from Bird as well. Look at that. That's pretty fun. It makes this kind of like interesting mix of like I can clearly see the Chicago in every one of these images. And now, granted, it's in the prompt, right? So it's gonna be like doubling down on that. But I'm curious to see what you guys are able to do by mixing stuff and by including additional parameters to see what we can kind of like push the boundaries of this mood board. Like I said, also we normally don't do a ton of live action stuff here. We tend to do a lot of anime and fantasy, and just in general like animated films. But today we're gonna just kind of be a bit easygoing, and also just have fun today. I didn't have any hard constructive stuff for us to do because frankly Rhapsody and I are pretty sunburnt from being out in this heat, like, and just coming to the stream here has just been so much fun for her to be here to play with my dogs, and of course the cat that screams every time I'm streaming. It's just so fun. I kind of forgot to give you guys homework. But yes, okay. Let's check out what. Ooh, sci-fi 360 character turnaround. Whoa. Okay, I dig these guys. I think what's so interesting about this is that there's like how it applies what's inside the mood boards and to whatever you're writing in here is giving us just some really really unique looking like machinery around these characters. I dig that. Awesome. Um, there's more of the urban fantasy. Look at this. The fourth one here is pretty cool. I'm gonna zoom that one in. We'll see the zoom ins a little later and try to mess around with those. Maybe tell a little story today. Um, like I said, I don't really know exactly how far we're gonna get in terms of actually, teaching stuff today. I'm so excited to kind of dig into one of your all's results here and start in painting into these and teach you guys how to use previous versions of Midjourney to kind of take full advantage of the external editor. So let's see here. We have Chicago Anime Tour from I Troll for You. At the top right photo is just legit. I feel like we basically had that view at one
Yeah.
point. Yeah, for sure. It's cool. The fourth one is literally what you asked for, though. Like, it is certainly an anime character touring Chicago. We had a very, very bad thunderstorm that came up, and we say bad as in like it's heavy, but it was so much fun. It was better. It was a better entertainment for the evening than having a bunch of hot, sweaty evenings because it didn't really get cold at all. Like there was a, it didn't we didn't really get one break from the heat outside of being in the Airbnb. So, wait. I do also dig Gomes standing in front of the graffiti here. It almost looks like she's part of the graffiti, but is slightly coming out of it, like as if like the graffiti is coming alive with this one. I dig that. That's really cool.
Yeah.
And then M. Posia has an urban horror movie in the style of Jordan Peele. Oh, okay, that's pretty cool. It really is giving us more of like the establishing shot for the film than anything else. But I got a lot of just tweaking the prompt, so feel free to skip over some. Yeah. I'm going through these. I'm going through these because I feel like there is going to be plenty to learn from each image, even if it's a little redundant on the exact prompt. But let's see here. Oh, fungi making them have a great time. That's great. Let's see here. Jumping and okay, cool. I let's see here. If there's any videos that you guys want to run for us, feel free to post the image inside of VC text so that we catch it because it's very easy for me to accidentally skip stuff inside of VC Create. And since we have the accounts, you guys don't need to spend money on videos or anything like that. You can just ask us to render the video with a prompt or anything, or just render the video with automate, or sorry, the animate buttons. So ideally, you guys get to save some money by joining the stream here today. But let's see here. At least it saves some fast hours. Oh, there's the bean with all the graffiti popping through too, Bert. That's interesting because there's no graffiti around the bean at all. I'm sure people have tried to deface the bean, and it just quickly gets mobbed by people. But like, yeah, that's
It just washes off.
yeah, it's so smooth. I'm sure that some people have tried to do that though. I'm curious about actually like the cloud gate itself. If you look at the bean, right, the actual images that you can get of it as you walk underneath it is a trip. I've seen the bean once before, but it's standing underneath it that is so freaking cool. It's one thing to have the giant reflective thing in your face, but to see the world distorted and warped in such fascinating ways with so many other people, it's a lot of fun. But this is the kind of image I feel
What I
like
like,
also bounces things around. So yeah.
yeah, what I liked the most was just walking under it and seeing everything deform. It was like um, the weird shots you see in Interstellar or on the other like wormhole type situations. You get that feeling there. You're just looking up and the whole world like collapses around you.
Right, and it's like
So that was really cool.
it makes you understand how this stuff can be done optically rather than with a computer, right? There's a there's a movie that I'm probably gonna have to dig into off screen here in a minute to find the movie I'm thinking of. But there is a completely optically shot space, like it's an Aronofsky movie. And it lets us basically. There's a scene where they have all sorts of space travel in it, but it was not shot with a single piece of CGI. They just dropped oil on a lens and let the light distort it to kind of evoke like black holes and all that kind of stuff. The I'll get to that here in a minute. I troll for you. I promise. That thing made us laugh real hard when we got to that. But you can use mirrors, particularly distorted mirrors, in order to create this sort of like time warp distortion effect. And it also lets you be able to show like alien body forms by saying like here is a distorted lens or mirror on someone's face or pointed at someone's face, and you can kind of make people look unnaturally, like with their eyes farther apart than normal or big bug eyes, things like that, without using a single piece of tech to do it. You're just distorting light into lenses. But what I troll for you is mentioning here, right? Because he looked at the mood board. One of the last, well, actually, literally the last thing we did in Chicago before we left was eat at an Indian restaurant. And that Indian restaurant had a banner up on the wall called Cha GPT. And I could not imagine it a more appropriate joke
It was
for AI's people to be, hanging out in. It's so funny.
I still don't know what it means. I tried to Google it, but I didn't find anything that made sense.
I think it's literally just an Indian pronunciation, like the double A's are something you never see in English. So I don't know if that's something uh yeah in Indian language or anything like that. I just thought it was that. I just thought it was a pun, basically the equivalent of a pun. But thank you so much for linking me to that, AC, because yes, it is the fountain. The fountain is but which by the way, you guys should see the fountain. It's a great movie. I saw it in theaters in Los Angeles when it came out. But The Fountain is a movie that takes place at 3 different time zones at the same time. So it's the Spanish conquistadors, modern time, and space. And it's just seeing those 3 storylines overlapping each other where the events are happening like quote unquote in real time to each other is really, really cool. But it's the post effects, sorry, the effects that were done in camera that is so nuts about this movie. So definitely go check that out, or at least put it on your list. It is so good. Let's see here. Chaat is an Indian street food? Okay, it's an Indian street food, Raps. So the thing is
That
that
makes sense.
they named
Yeah.
the buffet this. That's what's so funny now, because the street food line. It's the name for the buffet.
Yeah. ChatGPT.
ChatGPT. Yeah, no, it's great. I love it. I love it. It was another highlight to many
Prompt.
highlights.
Just prompt your lunch.
My lunch. Um,
Yeah.
what do you mean by that? Like you want me to write what I ate or
No,
what?
you can go up to ChatGPT and prompt your lunch.
Oh, okay. Yeah. You choose what you want. All the doll you could ever eat.
Yeah.
There you go. Yes, it's amazing, right, Alistair? It's so freaking funny. Large lunch model. Tanner, that's a good one. I love that. That is too funny. I didn't get the chat GPT space. Prompt your lunch. Yes, exactly. It's too funny. Um, so the very first thing that happened was we were like, we need to get a drink. We're completely out of, like, we need liquid, right? We didn't have any water. We were like, okay, we got to the Airbnb, yay, but there's nothing here. There wasn't even a drinking fountain or any sort of like water jug or anything like that. So we were like, okay, we're just gonna go to the CVS and get some water. The thing is that who the person who joined us was my partner. Who, if you guys just need a visual, it's Sage. Sage is based off my partner. She was like,
She
okay,
is Sage.
yeah, she is very much Sage. Can you confirm that now that you've hung out with her for a week?
I can 100% confirm she is Sage.
That's great. Yeah, because
And
it's
it was actually amazing.
yeah, all the mannerisms that I try to translate in my comics, which if you do want to check out my comics, it's gnarlycomics.com. But the female character in my comics is not just based visually off my partner, but also very much based off the mannerisms of my partner, for sure. Yeah, Sage did join us. It was a lot of fun. But the first thing she goes is, you know what? Like that, let's see what that store is across the street. Thank you so much for linking that, Kinky. I really appreciate it. But let's see what that store is across the street from the CVS, and it was this. It was Gangnam Market, And this place blew my mind. I could not believe that this was the very first thing that we interacted with. You know, Rhapsody and I being like anime
Oh yeah.
nerds and all that stuff. We were like, yes, okay, this looks interesting. This has potential. And it ended up being an anime themed grocery store. Okay. And everything was anime themed to the point where it was almost overbearing. Like there was way too many things to pick from that we wanted to walk out with at least $1,000 worth of groceries that we would have completely rotted by the time we were you know, we wouldn't have been able to eat it all, that's for sure. But the I highly recommend going to Gundam Market if you're in Chicago, because it's a trip. It's a trip to see. But they also had a restaurant on the other side of it that was so good. It was like a food court theme, but it was like five different restaurants in there. You can get all the ramen and
It
rice
was
meals.
insane.
So good, so good. I
Let me
didn't.
actually post a photo of my food.
You should, you should. I
I'm
didn't
gonna
include
post
it.
a photo of my
The
food.
only reason I didn't include any of the food photos inside of here is I felt like there'd be so many of them that they would skew the results into like weird food horror. You know, like here is a guy, but his hair is made out of noodles. You know what I mean? A food board. Yeah, I mean, like we could make a food board of entirely our trip. I would have to go through my photos on another time though in order to do that. But I wonder what a food board would do. Um, the let's see here. I'm looking forward to 20 years from now for Rhapsody's guest appearance in your comics. So I did have a joke that I did reference I did reference somebody else to be in my comics, but because my comics are set 30 years in the past, like on the date of whenever I released them, I made them a small child. So like I accurately was like, okay, how old are you now? Okay, mine is 30. And they were like, I'm a baby. So I was like, okay, yeah, then you're going to be a little baby inside of this comic. And I feel like I'm going to be doing that a couple times moving forward, because there's a handful of people I want to feature that would have been children in the 90s. So, um, yeah. Anyway. So I
I
definitely.
mean, also I have a character. I have a character in that comic series. Like, there's already a fitting IT person inside the building somewhere.
Yes, exactly. And it would be fun if you don't if you have that relatively handy to post that character just so that we can have a visual. But it is true that look at the food. Just look at this food that Rhapsody had. It's so good. It was such. And look at the little swirls in the what were the swirls actually? I forgot what those were.
It's some type of
Those
fruit.
are fish
I
cakes.
don't know.
Hmm?
What?
Those are fish cakes, and those specific ones are Naruto, which is what Naruto is named after.
Oh, okay, neat.
I didn't notice that.
Yeah, it
But it
is.
was definitely the best ramen I ever had in my whole life. And I ate a lot of ramen in my life so far.
That's great. And also like the truffle fries that you had were like I stole so many of those. I was like, I'm a big potato guy. I'm a vegetarian, right? So I'm not gonna be stealing her Naruto or anything like that. I'm gonna be taking potatoes. And yeah, these were really good. I'm gonna oh look at that Naruto Maki. Ooh, interesting. I bet Naruto's logo is involving that. Yeah, for sure. That's really cool. I dig that. Let's see. Does Discord video? Someone's asking a question. Does Discord video freeze constantly for anyone else? No, it doesn't. So I will say this about sometimes with the Discord video extensions. Sometimes when you like click into them, especially like ones that have been extended, sometimes it'll loop just the very first part of it and then continue the second time around. I've had that happen a couple times, especially as I click in. I don't know what the deal is with that, but it's not a big deal. Like it's literally just keep watching the damn thing and it'll work. But the freezing might be also because of Discord for you. You might want to restart your Discord if that continues to be a problem. So let's see here. I have a couple of new links here, or a couple of new results. We have Star-Crossed Lovers, close up in urban horror movie directed by Jordan Peele. So yeah, it's we're getting these two shots because you are saying that they are lovers, like that they're like it's evoking that there are two people there. It if you wanted to make that more dynamic or more interesting, you could say a different shot from the shot composition list that we linked earlier, to really encourage that the camera maybe is farther out or maybe is to the side or tilted, like we had the Dutch shot in okay. Well, there's one thing I want to mention about specifically Dutch shots. It is kind of a derogatory term that's used inside of film to call it something Dutch because it's wrong or whatever. Like it's basically like a slant at being Dutch, and it's nothing that's anyone takes seriously. No one has a problem with it. I'm Flemish myself. I don't have any issue with it, but it is kind of funny that when it means that you did it wrong. You didn't set up the tripod right, and everything is to the side. But when you do it intentionally, it's called a Dutch shot. Canted is the non-Dutch term. Interesting. But let's see here. We have a couple other from Bert here. Neat, neat. More cat girls. There's more of the bean. I'm not surprised. Let's see. Did you call it the cloud gate in this one? Graffiti on the bean sculpture. Okay, yeah. So you even have it in the prompt that there's graffiti on it. That's cool. Let's see here. I'm loving all these cat girls though. This is like post-apocalyptic Chicago. The bean is just no longer maintained, right? It's just people are doing whatever they want to it. I kind of want to see the bean take off, honestly. Like just have us be like, okay, the bean leaves, and we can do that with getting a result of it, or just taking our videos, because we're about to do some in painting onto some real photos that we had taken in order to put our characters inside the scenes. That's going to be partially what we do today. In post-apocalyptic Chicago, the bean has been. Hi, Flemish myself. I thought you were Victor Gnarly this whole time. That's funny. Bert, you and your dad jokes. I know you're a dad, so it makes sense, but that's a dad joke. Let me go ahead and see this here. 2D pixel art style. Two people having fun in the land of the free. Neat. Yeah, it because of the graffiti influence that we're seeing here, even the clouds are beginning to swirl and move around and do some weird things. And thanks for the badum-ching for that gompasta. It's a great little stop-mo moment. But let's go ahead and start doing some of our in-painting here, because I feel like I want to continue some of these. And like Hill Garden doing the duck faces. Yes, I'm glad we've at least caught up to the duck faces at this point. So let's go ahead and first grab one of our images from the mood board here. So we could do this one with the Gundam Market and actually put our characters inside of this poster, but I actually want to go shopping. I think that would be a fun one to start with here. So let's take this image here. I'm going to right click on it and hit copy image address. Okay. And now I'm going to go to create, to edit, and then hit edit from URL to do this inside of the website. And now we are able to use the external editor to basically in-paint our characters inside of the scene. You're going to see all sorts of useful tools on the right side, including layers and all of our generations, as well as being able to smart select things. So let's first start with smart select and try to make this feel more like a mixed media piece rather than just there's an anime character there. So to do that, I got to get rid of the human person that's standing here. And there's a couple of things we can learn just from this image, just from this process. So first thing I do is I hit select and then go to include in order to make sure that I am including inside of the selection anything I click. So let's click him first here. And see, it collected his shoulder, so now we can keep clicking until we've basically selected the entire body of the person. There you go. It only took 2 clicks to get that. But there's one thing that we need to do here that's actually just as important, which is we need to also click his reflection. Reflections and shadows heavily dictate the results that you get inside of these sort of like this sort of in-painting. So let's try to select also the reflection of this character. It selected the whole floor. So we can now go back. Okay. And I'm going to say erase selection, and then we'll do it manually to get rid of the reflection. So erase selection, you'll notice that it turned the person into an alpha channel. And now we are going to just, let me just go back here real quick once it selects the floor again. We could say the floor is lava by doing something like that, but I'm going to go to now paint, and then under the erase button here, and we'll bring that brush down really good. Like 25 pixels is perfect for this. And we're just going to now select on his reflection and on the can that's beside him, because yeah, let's just get rid of that can. Why not? Taking a double check to make sure that there's no other like reflections that could be confused here. And now we just write a prompt that makes sense to get this scene cleaned up. So we're just going to do grocery market aisle. So we're not evoking any person, we're not using any profiles, we're not doing anything except describing what we want to see in the scene. So let me go ahead and hit enter on that. And depending on just how much we're actually like wanting to change from the image, will dictate whether or not we start using parameters or even revert to an earlier version of Midjourney. So let's see what result we got off of this. It's going to take just a second here. There you go. Look at that. We literally, all four of them are potential candidates here. They all work. Gonna go with, let's go with this one, because if we want to later, we can get rid of this bag that's sitting on the ground. But for now, this is fine. So now that we have a grocery store here, we have two options. We could in-paint our character directly into the scene, or we can convert it to a more animated aesthetic by using the retexture mode right here. We're gonna do retexture later, but for now, let's just throw our characters in there and make Rhapsody and I shopping. For what is this? What aisle is this? Rice? Yes, it's the rice and
I don't know.
And Pocky. It's Pocky and rice, I think. There was an entire island of chips that were all Thai, or was it? No, they were they're from China, but it was like, oh my god, it was. Do you want to describe that for a sec, Raps?
China. It was a pyramid of weird, not normally available flavors. Like, I don't know, creamy hummer, or like oyster, or I don't know, wasabi type chips, like crazy stuff.
Well, the one that I got was the only one that I liked out of all the chips. Sage, she got seaweed, just seaweed chips, and Rhapsody really did like it. I didn't really have a big problem with them. They were okay. My partner really dug them. But the ironically, plenty of these, like when they say they have meat in them, they don't actually. You can look at the ingredients and see that it says, oh, it's whether it has crustacean in it or whether it's just artificial flavoring. I picked the chicken feet one, and it's legit good. It's the only one that I liked. Was the chicken feet. Chicken feet Lay's chips.
The vegetarian ate the chicken feet.
Yeah, so I guess I like chicken feet. But it's also true that we immediately were laughing at this because Rhapsody's character Rio is a bird girl, and it's like we were like, maybe we should make a comic where she's just like, it's chicken feet. You're eating feet. You're eating my feet. Something like that. Chicken feet are a super flavorful dark meat like wing flats, but better. What? Really? That's interesting. Where did you have chicken feet, Enid? I'm curious now. Oh my god, any Chinatown? Any Chinatown. Got it. Just order it. Got it. Alright, so this is what I'm going to do. We're going to start in-painting in here. So let's go ahead and first, I use my mouse wheel to increase the size of my brush. You can see that I'm doing that here really quickly. But if needed, you can use the bar here on the side. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to put Victor kind of in the back a bit, but I want to make sure I don't in-paint too much because I'm going to be inserting an anime character in here, so I want to make sure we preserve as much of the realism as possible here. But we also need to take into account his reflection, okay? Because it most likely will notice that there is a reflection on the floor. So we are going to also in-paint a little bit of the floor towards us. It really helps to remember what you just removed and then to apply those rules to what you want to change, okay? Because what is it? So we saw that the reflection was pointed towards us. So that means that I want to make sure I in-paint a little bit extra towards us like I did below here. We just kind of come into here, and I want to make sure that I, at the very least, preserve the end of the aisle. Like if I go ahead and just in-paint all of this, the aisle will have no determinable end, and therefore it may look real weird because it's just kind of like spanning into infinity, or it ends at the glass and merges with the glass. I don't want that. So we're going to leave the end of the aisle here and just generally kind of get an idea of what area we can work with. The grocery back rooms. Yeah. There was a back rooms moment that happened when we actually went to the bean. Okay. So what happened was we went to the parking lot. It was the Southgate parking lot. And we were like going on the first floor, all the parking spots were full. So we went to the second floor. We thought all of them were full, so we decided to go down to the third floor, like the third basement floor. And when we got there, there were 0 cars there. There were literally nothing. It was eerie. It felt like a liminal space. And then we get to the elevator, and it says LL for that level. We were like, oh my god, it's the liminal space. It was sadly when
Just didn't exist.
yeah, it just didn't exist. We made a joke that we like when we went down there, right? We like an alternate dimension version of us never left. You know, it was fun. It was fun to joke about stuff like that. But let's go ahead and grab Victor now. So we need an image of Victor that shows like his full body, or at least most of his full body. I do have a new version of Victor I am working on, or at least I've been leaning on a lot lately, which is let's see here. I just have to scroll down a good amount here. We could use a close-up and then, say, just with prompting, infer the rest of him. But I have him here in a director's chair. If I just click this now, the problem is that we're currently using version 7, which is, technically version 6.1 inside of InPainting, but regardless, it's still version 7 right now inside of our UI. So we need to click on the menu up here first, and we need to switch this from version 7 to version 6.1 or Niji 6. Okay? We're going to use Niji 6 today. So let's go ahead and do that. Version 6.1 might do a better job at in-painting the character into a realistic space. So if this fails, then we'll just switch to version 6. But now that we have version Niji 6 turned on here, as soon as I try to grab an image now, you'll notice now we have character referencing. So the version 7 uses something called omni-referencing, which is not available for in-painting right now, but it is something that we can easily just go back to a version that has a character referencing. So that's either Niji 6 or version 6.1. So I'm going to go back down here and now find our image of Victor. There we go. And then I'm going to drag and drop that image onto character referencing. Okay? And now I'm just going to add to the prompt, first getting rid of version 7 here. Anything that's written inside of the prompt bar here is going to overwrite whatever's inside the UI here. So if you write counterintuitive stuff to whatever's inside your UI, it's just going to listen to whatever you wrote here. So we are now going to say that this is a lanky man in all black shopping in a grocery market. And we might need to say that he's like picking up items or otherwise like, actually grabbing something from there for this to work. We'll see what first results we get. But we are working with Niji 6, so it could very well be a version change. We'll see. But now that I have character referencing here, I have the prompt adjusted for this, we should now be able to hit submit edit. And you can see it automatically added Niji6 to the prompt. And if we did want to try version 6 right off the bat, before anything renders, we could just edit the prompt to write version 6.1 and then hit enter instead of using the UI to do that. Either way, it'll show up down here on the bottom right corner, and it gives us each like result that we have here. And I'm not surprised that we're not getting him on the first go, but it is something that that's also why like I'm doing version 6 right off the bat, because look at that. We have the start of Victor inside the grocery mart here. It looks like none of the Niji ones worked because Niji is not designed for getting this kind of like realistic space understood, but version 6 is. So that gives us the ability to get Victor or a Victor-like character into the scene. But here's the benefit of this. We now have everything we need to use Niji 6 properly inside this image, now that there is enough visual information to reference Victor, okay? So we will go ahead and say that maybe he is like pulling out one of these items. So we could say that he's like holding a like a box of cereal or a coffee or something like that. So let's go ahead and first now in paint his arm. It kind of looks like he's on the phone, like he doesn't know what to buy and someone's telling him what to purchase at the store. But I want him to actually reach and grab something here. So I'm going to say lanky man in all black reaches for a drink in a grocery market aisle. There we go. And again, if Niji 6 doesn't work for this, or we just don't like how how he looks for this, then we can always revert back. But let's now in paint a little bit of his face, because I do want to see his eyes a little bit. Even though this is okay for now, I want to be able to see a little more anime effect here. So I'm going to in paint his face, and let's also include the reflection on the floor. Okay, so let's in paint this, something like this, boom, and we'll also write that there is a reflection on the floor. Reflection of a man in all black. Or just say, you know what? We don't even have to do that. We could just say that this is a shiny floor, and that should make the reflection more prominent. So let's just in paint the rest of this so that it's a little more accurate to how much space we need. There you go. And let's compare again version 6 and Niji 6. I have an expectation that Niji 6 will work fine now, but we're going to go ahead and just rewrite this, write Niji 6, and then submit. Let's see how this goes. I hope you guys are enjoying this, because I have a lot more to talk about when it comes to our trip, but it is certainly true that this may not be for everybody, but I am having a lot of fun with this.
Yeah. This mixed media stuff is always fun, at least for me.
Yeah, I really do like it, especially now that we can send this to video. Look at the googly eyes.
Yeah, I didn't even think about how was that movie called with like all the Looney Tunes characters?
Space Jam.
Space Jam.
Victor, you should have known that.
Yeah.
I know I should have, and I didn't catch it quick enough. I'm sorry. I would have gotten it. You're too fast, Kinky. You're too fast.
I'm too fast. No one has ever accused me of that in my entire life. Being too fast.
Okay, let's take a look at this. So we are seeing here. I want to first check out the Niji 6 ones, because the Niji 6 ones, look how silly Victor's eyes are here. He's a little bit too gothy, too gloomy in this one. You can see that it's having trouble understanding the idea of like what's in his hand. It's just kind of like, here's a thing. It doesn't really generate the hands. It doesn't really do a good job at that. But if we now do version 6 again, we are able to get like a proper can in his hand. He's looking at the item very closely, like he's taking pictures of the food, right? That's pretty funny. Again, we get a little bit better results with version 6 on this. So let's go ahead and just use the one that's kind of it looks like he's kind of drinking here. So let's actually go back. We can go back to our original prompt, and I'm actually going to in-paint his mouth as well, because I really do think that we're going to get a better result if we just say, hey, Niji 6, give him a proper face. Let's see what we get. I didn't even look for the reflections in those results, but that doesn't matter. I really do want to get the hand looking right first. Always knew you were a sweet slow jam, Kinky. Who Framed Roger Rabbit is one of my favorite movies of all time. My student film was based off of Who Framed Roger Rabbit, using the same rotoscoping techniques that they did for that movie. And the Who Framed Roger Rabbit is a monumental film in it just in production, like workflow and procedure, just because they had to do so much stuff in order to make that work with the technology they had at the time. So let's see here with Niji 6. It's fine. It's just kind of goofy. It doesn't really look like Victor. It kind of looks like an alien version of his face, right? So let me do version 6.1 now that we've included his face a bit here instead of Niji 6. It seems like version 6.1 is going to be the best bout, or the best thing to do for this. So in order to just not have to rewrite version 6.1 all the time, I'm going to scroll on up and click 6.1 inside of our UI, and now it is there. Look at that. That's so much better right off the bat. It's just more realistic, more humanoid, especially doing mixed media stuff. Yeah, as long as your references, whether it's your style reference or your character reference, includes anime characters, it'll be fine to represent them as cartoon characters. So I'm going to now submit this 1 or 2 times to see if we can get a little bit more interesting of a shot, but it is working. This feels so accurate, though. Yeah, I could see that. That's pretty cool. Yeah, that's pretty rad. I love Rhapsody's interpretation here on the bottom left. That's really cool, Enid. All right, let's see which one of these new ones we like the most. Okay, yes, this is probably my favorite so far. And look, we even got a reflection on the ground of him standing. So this is our best result we've gotten so far. I will check the last 4 because why not? You really should check them all if you're going to spend the rendering on them. So let's do this. Okay, which one is it? This one. Okay, that works well. And now we're going to include Rhapsody's character here. I do have a version of her. Should I feel like if I use the version with the wings, it's going to be harder to inpaint because the wings need to be justified in the space. So let me see what images of Rio I have here. I did make one without wings.
There are a few real life versions. I can also send you some if you want.
Yeah, whatever you want to do. I'm gonna use this one for now. Just the one with the finger pointing and kind of tired eyes one. This one. I'll use that for now.
Oh, yeah, that's a small Rio. It's also okay. Yeah.
Okay. And now we are going to inpaint her here, and I'm going to have her reacting to Victor here and say, "What about this?" And then we can do the bird feet joke here. And she is tinier. We'll make her smaller here, so that in perspective she's smaller. We will now use the restore button in order to kind of fix some of this here. I want to make sure we keep that the bottom of these bottles and stuff here, just because it will help establish her scale. I'm seeing that there's some video stuff from Enid here. We'll check that out here in a minute. But now that I have this set to a character reference of Rio, I'm going to change the prompt from a lanky man in all black to because if we use this reference of her, it's going to be that she's looking at the camera, because at least without doing a bunch of parameters to kind of move ourselves away from this, we will need to get a behind an over the shoulder of her or a back of the head of Rio. So if you do have that or know where you have that stored somewhere, Raps, that might be more useful to kind of make the scene look more tight, right? To have them actually looking at each other. But for now, we're going to go with this. We're just going to describe her as a like a behind the head. Like an over, like if just her from the back would be very useful.
Yeah, 1 second.
And I'm going to say that this is awesome girl with white hair and red robe. Rishi, and then we're gonna get.
Side.
I'm sorry.
I'm just thinking which one. We could also just generate a quick video turnaround.
That's what I was about to say. If not, it's easy to generate the video turnaround. If you want to do that, just feel free to start generating it. But because we do have an entire work. we do have an entire workflow for making a video turnaround quickly with Midjourney Video. It's so useful. It's from Gompasta. We'll get into that. We've already talked about it plenty of times in previous streams. But let's go ahead and first just try to inpaint. So we're going to say that this is the back of a girl with white hair and a red robe. First, we'll just submit this, and then we'll try using character weights to get us away from this. This feels so accurate that let me see the video result from Enid here while that's rendering. Copy message link and paste this here. I just want to see this full screen here. The staring at camera, the top right one is so funny. That is cool though. Oh god, can't believe it. You know, they got macaroni in the damn freezer. The background, I love the generated background where the actual everything makes sense in terms of the construction of it, but it's including food that reminds me of like noodles and things you would not put in the freezer. You call this bread? I recently called potatoes Irish bread because it also makes me sleepy. Let's see. Okay, all right. So this is using the image. This is really funny, actually. I like this in paint. Just this, her face right here is actually really cute. And then you can see that there's a couple of like interpretations of this image, right? With version 6.1, it's not designed for necessarily an animated aesthetic, but it does a really great job of compositing into realistic stuff. So I do actually like this one a lot so far, but I definitely want to get a version of her from the back. We can make one using this existing image, though. Huh?
I just have one with wings.
All good. I actually can use this image and then generate her without the character reference in order to get the back of her head here. But let's first try this. So I want to look at maybe because we could just use this, and you could see that Rhapsody had included a 3D turnaround, which is an amazing 3D turnaround with those wings. Those wings look so good when spun around in 3D like that. Love that. We can actually use this image. I'm going to copy it, and then I'm going to quickly use. We're just going to hop into the editor really quick again. So you can click on Edit New Image, Edit URL, paste copy image address, and then paste the image into here. We're just going to quickly make a version without wings. So we just just select the wings. All right, and now we got this, and then we say, white hair girl with wearing red robe. And I'm going to also make sure we say the back of. And because this is just an image of a fully drawn thing, I'm going to use Niji6 for this for sure. And just hit submit. I do want to do a small shout out for for anyone that is new here as well, because I see a couple new names here. Thank you guys so much for joining. I see the Collector and Prompt Gammon and Akatin and Dr. Orpheus. Oh, there's a lot of really fun folks here. Thank you guys so much for joining. We do have a server called the Gnarly Studio server that you're welcome to join. It's like this stream, but all the time. All week long, we are generating original characters and then telling stories with those characters. So just click on the link here from Kinky or this button right here, the server button. You'll be able to join and submit characters to the character portal. So you might be wondering who these people are, which is I didn't get to the character portal as early in the stream as I normally do. But if you notice here, you click character portal, you can find an original character or submit your own so that other people can use them, and you can track their progress inside of Midjourney. It's such a cool way to use Midjourney because it's collaborative. All sorts of different people want to see you excited to see their character being used. So essentially, if you get a result that you really like with any of these characters, post them inside of their character portal entries so that we can keep track of them and also use those images later for referencing. So like Gal, for instance, is one of the villain characters from our fantasy series, and we've been recently making 3D turnarounds so that we can quickly make character sheets and get different angles of our characters. You could see all that progress is right here. This is the turnaround we were able to make using the just a prompt for a like getting the multiple angles of the character, but the 3D one lets us get a fully, like a very accurate, especially if you really love a pose of a certain character, it really does a great job making that accurate there. And you could see what we were able to do a couple streams ago was use these video models to direct our characters into specific compositions. So we're effectively doing blocking with our video turnarounds. It's a pretty fun stream, and that'll be uploaded onto YouTube soon. But this is a great way to use Midjourney, honestly, because it's a fun collaborative way to join in and just have a good time. So and like Lolo's here, just making a sci-fi version of him. It's like Alakazam. I love that. It's so good. We also tend to recommend that if your character uses props or any sort of item that may not always be in that character's hands, like it's not like a permanently fixtured part of themselves, even like a hat sometimes, like just include it as a separate image, and then we can use that for referencing. So if we need to, we can either use character referencing or omni-referencing in order to make sure that this specific staff is inside or being held by Gal whenever we need him to. But it also means that every time we generate with him, he's not limited to always being holding a staff in his hand. So it's a very useful thing to do to also include the assets of your characters. Okay, all right. Now that I've done that little demo for the new folks here, we are going to go back to the editor here. And you can see I got the version of her without the... ooh, she's holding a stick. With this one here. I'm actually just going to get rid of the stick by just doing a much tighter in paint with the same exact prompt, because we don't really need to do anything else. So I'm just going to select this in paint here, get rid of this little dark splotch here. It's a little bump in her outfit I'm going to get rid of here. And whatever this thing is on the side, I'm also going to get rid of that. And then we just hit submit. Because there's no reason to change the prompt at all if you're just kind of patching things. You can also use void prompts to do the same thing. Like if everything is just, I need to clean this up, you can go back to your in paint here, replace the entire prompt with just quote, quote, and then hit submit. And that will more than likely just do like a quick removal of anything that's inside of this this area here. So let's compare the two here while this is loading, or right as this loads, and then we can take it from there. I see I got a bunch of tags inside of VC Create, so it'll be fun to dig into what you guys have been doing. So with the void prompt, you can see that it did exactly what we wanted, just kind of remove those little spots and whatnot. And same thing with the back of the hair prompt as well, the original prompt. It included her hair there on the underneath of her robe in one corner, which is why I tend to prefer doing void prompts when I'm just trying to fix something, when I just want to remove something, okay? Void prompting has helped me finish a scene when other things don't work. It's like rolling a dice to autocomplete. Oh my god, it's very accurate, Alistair. I fully agree with that. It does really feel like you're just kind of using like a patch tool or something like that. There's a couple of Photoshop tools that are somewhat like that are just like, hey, complete this for me, fill it in, kind of a thing. This is very much effectively the same thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to make sure we don't really need her hands here. So I'm just going to go with this here, and now we are going to download the image because we do not need a high res of this. We just need this image. Whatever kind of upscaling or anything that's done whenever we make things bigger inside of Midjourney, there's always a chance that it actually changes the line art or the texture of the image slightly. And that can get a little annoying when you talk about using it as a reference because you won't notice it right off the bat most of the time. So I just download the image directly whenever we're using it for references. So now that we have this back of her, selected, another option is that we can go into the snipping tool and just copy with the snipping tool the area that she's in. So I'm just going to do that copy. And now we go back to the editor again. We find our last edit that we did. Okay. And you could see here that the only thing we got to do is we got to click on this top left image here, because that's the voided area that we had selected. And I'm going to replace her character reference with this new image by copying and pasting the image here and then shifting it over to character referencing. It added it also as another layer when I copied and pasted it. So just go ahead and hit the trash can for that, unless you want to use literally that image as the back of her head for this. But I want a little bit of a 3/4. So I want to be able to have her looking at Victor here. So back of a girl with white hair and red robe, and I'm going to give her an expression as well. She is reaching out to him and waving erratically. No, stop it!
Yes, that was basically me inside that store. Look at this.
Yeah, it was so funny to be able to like just the very first thing we run into was just nothing, like just an anime store. Like, of course it is. Of course it's an anime grocery store in the middle of Chicago. So we're going to use version 6.1 now to kind of make a little bit more of a mixed media result here. Oh, look at that. It actually, like, her hair kind of looks like mozzarella or something like that. But let's go ahead.
No.
Oh, look at she's reaching.
Mozzarella hair.
Mozzarella hair.
Mozzarella hair is a real condition, and it's really bad.
Is it? Is it? Are you just screwed? Okay, I thought so. I thought you were screwing with me. I had to check, though, because I don't want to insult people. Oh, that's funny. Let's see. Okay, out of all the results, we actually got one where she is reaching out like this. That's pretty cool. I like that. We have her kind of like with her hair down here, so on and so forth. But let's try this with Niji 6 now, because this is all version 6.1 with a reference that is so close to what our intent is. We should be fine to use Niji 6 for this. It's only unless it like really screws up some of the grocery items where we would have to in-paint back in some of the grocery items. I don't want to do that. So we're just going to take a look at this result here and go from there. Doll. Okay, there you go. There you go. She's like waving at him. That's great. It's a pretty strong outline on her.
Nice.
I like that one, yeah. This one's cute. This one's cute. Yes, I like this. Let's make sure that we have feathers in her hair also. So let's just in-paint this area here. And now I'm going to erase everything that's redundant from this and say that white hair girl with parrot feathers in her hair. And submit. Unless there's a better prompt you have for that, Rhapsody, in order to encourage the feather, because I figure you've probably used a couple different words for that.
I usually just write long white hair with a few feathers in the hair, and that's it. That usually does it.
Yeah, I didn't know if like maybe you mentioned a pirate or like some other like thing that kind of places the feather. That's interesting.
Nope. Sometimes I write like sticking out of her hair, and sometimes I add the colors I need. But other than that, nothing.
Yeah, it just kind of gave her a hairband. Let's try this then.
It's probably because the character reference doesn't
Exactly.
have it.
Exactly. Well, no, it does have it. It does have the feather. It's on the top left there. But it is true.
Oh, it does.
But you are right, though, that it's most likely the character referencing that's dominating these results, right? So, like, if we go ahead and click on this in paint here, like the top left corner, it'll let us get back to our selection. We're going to get rid of the character reference and then submit this again. Because we've gone a little overboard when it comes to describing that it's parrot feathers specifically, we might be able to get away with it. If not, version 6.1 will be able to do it. Okay, yes. So let's switch to version 6.1 and say what was it about her hair? You said poking out of her hair or in her hair? What was
Three feathers are poking out of her hair on the left side or of her head or something like that. That's what I usually write.
Okay. Poking out of her hair. We'll submit that. Oh, we got a good crowd here today. This is awesome.
You will probably need to increase the in-painting area a bit because it's wild when it comes to feather shapes, so you will need a little bit more space upwards.
Mm. Yeah, I was using
Just like
Niji. What?
these
Sorry.
white boxes there should do it.
Mm.
Or these white packages at the top of the outpainted area.
Oh, we got an undefined error here, so that's fine. We can come back over to here and submit that one more time. Poking out of her hair. I'll do Niji 6 as well, just because, but I do think version 6.1 will actually do a little bit of a better job to recognize where the feathers should, like, point towards, which is a little bit down and to the side. But that's just because version 6, I believe, has a better understanding of space. But it doesn't have a better understanding of the rules of an anime character here. So, like, look at that with Niji 6, we got a little bit of that Hoagie, what is it, the idiot hair sticking out of the top of her hair here. But let's go ahead and increase the in-painting area like Rhapsody suggested. So let's just get rid of some of the line work that's here. Boom. As noted, I am new here, and thank you for these good pointers. I've been struggling with getting details like these in my images and as I want them, but I haven't been using in painting this much. Now I will. Yay! That's awesome. I'm so glad to hear that. And thank you so much for joining, Collector. We do have something called the show after the show, which you're welcome to join. We will be doing a shorter stream today, but we will also be doing the show after the show. Just because we're in my hometown, everything kind of closes a little early, and I want to make sure we have time for dinner. But
I need to go on a plane tomorrow in the morning and fly back for I have 24 hours of travel in front of me to get back.
Oh, yeah, she's flying across the world to get back home to Germany. So the it's I do not want to like I just yeah I feel for you, Raps. I really do. But let's go
Anyways,
ahead.
join
Yeah,
the show after the show.
yeah, join the show after the show because it lets you be able to come in and actually talk with us directly. You can jump on the stage there inside of the Gnarly Studio server and ask us questions directly. So if you do have any projects that you have that you want to show off and whatnot, you're welcome to do it here. But if you want to be able to explain what you're doing in person and whatnot, that's what the show after the show is for. Okay, awesome. So I increased the in-painting area. And now I'm going to submit this, but let's also grab an image of some feathers. So I'm just going to, off screen here, I'm just going to grab some parrot feather images. And it could be, okay, yes, okay. Let's just grab, oops, I hit the wrong button. Just a second. If this doesn't work, we'll do this. Oh, I like this hair though. I like the point of this coming out. That's actually pretty cute. But I am going to just grab an image of some feathers. Let's do this one here. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we could just.
So I'm going to paste an image of a feather.
You could also
Get rid of this layer. Boop. And then use this as a reference.
just use that.
I could just use that, but I'm going to keep the little like hair bit that sticks up because it's just cute. It's just cute to have that there. So let's go ahead and clean up some of the line work here and see if we could still get that feather using character referencing to produce that feather.
Look at my feathers.
Yeah, and I know that I'm focusing a lot on the feather, but accuracy to the character is super important for me. It really does make a big difference to put in that time and effort to make sure it's accurate, especially if you are using multiple images of the same character. You want to find those techniques that let you be able to get that reference right. And I will do one with version 6.1 as well. And if not, we're moving on.
It's important to stick to these things because anime characters are so minimalistic that there is very little distinguishing between them. And in this case, the feathers in the hair, like the feathers here poking out, define the silhouette of the character so that it really is unique. You will, if you see an image of Ryo, you usually know it's her just because of the feathers and the wild hair. So, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm going to
Don't omit these.
Yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and we will add the feathers afterward. But the we're at least in terms of moving on and getting creating like this unique image here, we can always also include a like a prompt for a feather and then drop that in. So let's do that really quick. That'll be a lot faster. So if I go to create and we're gonna create a new image here, we're gonna say that this is a multicolor parrot feather parrot feathers on white background. And then we're going to remove the background with the editor. Also, we never saw the results of falling into the fountain. So let's see. Yes, it worked as I anticipated. Where we got a lot better of a tip in. Like they don't like they like dive. They still dive in, but at the very least they're not turning into like the scale of them is right. So okay, so now we have a result of these feathers, but it is kind of a little too many of them, a little too plentiful. We could remove them with inpainting as well, but I'm actually going to describe exactly how many feathers we want to see. So let's say that there are just two multicolored feathers on white background. This hopefully will allow us to limit these results and get us a nice image to pop in there. Because it's one thing to reference stuff, it's another thing to know what you're doing and just kind of get the assets that you need in order to create your image, okay? So we have our feathers here now. I'm going to pick probably this one here. Yeah, we're going to go with this one, just because it's kind of they're tight together. Let's go into the editor, and then we are going to click on Select, open an Edit tab in order to get to the full editor here. And then we're going to go to select, and we could select the feathers, we could select the white space, but let's try this. We're going to use the erase background button here. So we first select the feathers. Okay, that's one feather. Two feathers. We could just work with that. That actually was fine because we only want two feathers. It kind of generated three here without a third stem. So let's go ahead and grab these two, and then I'm going to hit the erase background button. Boom. Now we have the background done here that we can just hit download image. It'll preserve the alpha channel, which an alpha channel, by the way, is the checkerboard that you're seeing here. It means transparency. It means that there's nothing there. There's no pixel data there. So now we can go back to our previous edit. What?
It does preserve the transparency?
Yes. So we should be able...
I didn't know that. That's amazing.
So if I now grab this image here and hit add on add file, we double click on the feathers, and then there's the feathers. And you see that it's preserved the transparency.
Amazing.
So we can go into move on this layer. You notice now we have layers. What the what? Yeah, it does preserve the alpha channel. I don't know if that was an update. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. But like in terms of maybe it did it at some point or it didn't. But oh wow. But if we go to move, we get rotation toggles or handles on the side here. We can rotate the feather. We could shrink it down. Oh, it's layering layers time. Exactly. I love layers. But we're gonna just move this into place. There's so much more to editing than I knew. Yeah, there's so much capability with this. I'm going to do this so much with this knowledge. Yeah, I want you guys to go ham. So let's go ahead and grab her feathers here. And make sure we preserve that little, idiot hair part is there. I'm sorry I keep calling it idiot hair. It's just I don't want to mispronounce the Japanese name for it, so I'm just going to go for this here. Because it's going to be behind her ear a bit here, it kind of sticks out from her hair here, we're going to select this here. And depending on what layer you're on, it will actually let you input or remove only certain parts of that layer. Guess I'm an idiot. Yeah. Golem is like one of our like core members, by the way. Like Golem is amazing and really makes some amazing stuff there. But it is kind of funny that how often people will include that and they don't really understand what that little loop does or means. It just means you're kind of, ignorant or unknowing or it doesn't mean that you're stupid. It just means that you are, yeah. Anyway, I'm going to move on. So we go into paint now, and we are going to work on the first layer and just erase the foundation of the feathers here. You notice that I kind of went a little too far, which is what the restore button is for. We now restore this just a little bit. We just keep going back and forth until we get a nice clean line. There you go. Now we have her hair with the feathers here. And as soon as we hit upscale, we will be able to we'll be able to composite this as a single image. We could look if there's anything else we want to change about this, but I think this is pretty good for now. I'll be able to make manual edits like give Victor pupils and stuff. This makes the most amount of sense to just draw it in. Even if you just have a mouse, pupils, come on guys, you could draw pupils, okay? So let's go ahead and hit upscale to gallery. Because if we just hit download, it's going to be the lowest res version of the image. If we hit upscale to gallery, it will upscale it with minor changes. And when I say minor, I mean really minor. Like we're talking like, minor differences in texture and things like that. Not to be confused with Ego. Yeah. I'm not saying. Yeah. It's just idiot hair. Okay. We're just gonna go with idiot hair. Oh, TV tropes. Yeah. We did a TV trope stream once, and that was like a minefield of problems in terms of like, oh god, no, we can't feature that. Oh god, there's a lot of not safe for work TV tropes. Oh wait, we didn't get the hair. Okay, hold on a second. Oh, sorry, the feathers. Let's go back to the editor. Okay, so we need to composite this down. We need to slap this down, and the best way for us to do that is actually to, in fact, remind me really quick, Ancient, how do we compress this down to one layer again? I forgot. What is the best way to do that?
You just submit an edit.
Submit an edit, that's right. Okay, let's just submit an edit. So let's get rid of this, and then I'm going to make it a void prompt. Boop, boop. And we need to edit something for this to submit. It collapsed it down. Normally we have to sometimes like select an area in order to be like, hey, you need to at least edit something. But because there's layers now, we don't need to worry about that. Just run a gen. Thank you for that, Gom. Okay, so we now compress this down. And as soon as this is finished, we will now we can hit upscale to gallery on any of these results. Because we didn't do any actual edits. We just generated something with it. And now if we go to the create tab, you can see that the feather is included, and it's just upscaling it now. And if we wanted it to be more of a drawn feather instead of like a live action feather, we could use NG6 and also instead of version 6.1. But that's fine. We're going to keep moving on. Is there an anime term for when a single curl of hair hangs down from the front, like in a Superman Clark Kent hair curl? Let's see. Yeah, like jiggly poof. I would say that I'm trying to think if there is one. There is a term in English for it. It's because the Little Rascals, one of the characters have it, and it was named after him. I'm trying to remember that now. I'll have to come back to that one. But yeah, if you look at the hairstyle in Little Rascals from the 50s, you'll.
You're talking about Alfalfa?
I think so. I think Alfalfa, whatever the name of his hair.
Is the hair sticking up?
Yeah. I think that there's a name for that. His hair stuck up instead of down. Okay, yeah. I maybe I got that confused, but yeah, I think if you reference that, you might be able to get that single point down instead of up. But yeah. Let's see. We got maybe a top lock.
The only term I would think of is like the hime haircut, but it's like this typical, I don't know, flat on eye level cuts in front and then long hair to the sides thing. I don't think a single lock has any special name.
Where one strand points upward. Okay. Yeah, there's definitely plenty for one strand pointing upward, but I'm not seeing anything for down. Sorry, man. Let's see. Are you getting some spooky stuff, Enid? Of course you are. Of course. Look at these spooky videos. This is
Oh my
great.
god. Look, yeah.
Yeah,
Look at us grocery shopping.
yeah. That
Saw
is
that.
that is a.
Somebody with
Go ahead.
That's somebody else with cat ears.
That's funny.
I think it's
Um,
Garmin you.
that's funny. Yeah, I'm 100% a spooky skeleton with a giant pelvis. Um, those are some big bag of pretzels. Yeah, exactly. I want it's like pretzels in dog food bags. That's what I'm seeing here. Okay, all right. So we have our upscaled image here. Okay, we have the two characters. We have the composite with the feather and stuff and whatnot. We did unfortunately get a bit of what is it a live action feather rather than a drawn feather if we would have used an EG6 for this. But I do want to just show you how you could quickly make something look like it's drawn. And I'm gonna just use Photoshop for this one because it's gonna take 2 seconds. But I will go ahead and download this image. I'm gonna hit save image. And then I do have Photoshop open here. I'm just gonna quickly switch over to my tablet to show you guys this. This is Photoshop. I'm just gonna go into the Photoshop and then we do just grab the pen tool and literally give it an outline that matches Rhapsody here. So we select that, we make sure that our pen tool is shrunk down to like 5 or 6, whatever matches this line. All right, a little smaller. Let's go for what's up? So I'm just going to draw the outline of the feathers to match the outline of her. And I am using a pen right now to do this. I have a drawing tablet. I have a Huion tablet. And we're just going to quickly match that outline on both of these feathers. Meow. I will say this too. I oftentimes more use the erasing tool rather than the pen tool when it comes to refinement. So like I don't redraw the same line a bazillion times. I just draw like as much as I need of pixel data, and then I will come in and kind of refine that line. I forgot to draw on a different layer though. But there you go. The point is that if you just give things an outline, it helps a lot. And you can even go a bit farther by selecting the red that's in here with like a pretty decent tolerance, and just let's increase the tolerance. Let's go for like 35 on here, and then I just kind of group select this until we got all the red captured, and I will just grab the reds from her here with a new layer, red. And you can start to match this a little better. There you go. I mean, that already looks better when it comes to trying to get this to be more drawn looking. But this should work for now. Okay, there you go. We did it. We did it, boys and girls. We did it. Now I do want to draw Victor's eyes and then call it a day. If we come in closely, you could see what the upscaling is doing. It kind of makes this sort of wobbly texture that's here. So we could go in and refine the hands and do all that kind of stuff, but I just want to make sure he's got pupils so we could see this from far away. Let's go for something like this. Let's actually have him looking down at the item here. And yeah, so on and so forth. It works well. We will be able to make this work. It's just his head is very small here, so we probably want to refine that a bit later. All good. Now I'm going to switch us back to the mainstream. Okay. And let's check out some of the results here. Oh, wow. Hold on. I troll for you. What are you doing here? You took the photo that Sage took and turned it into an anime version of it, and then animated it with Midjourney Video to make them actually swimming in the concrete. That is cool. Wait, did you do that with the video too? Oh my god, you did it with the actual video, with the actual photo that she took. Look, she's trying to step on the fish's tail. That you did it with the loop function too. Okay, that's awesome. That is really cool. I dig that. Which by the way, the shoes she's wearing are the Charlie Brown Chucks. So it's like Charlie Brown themed Chucks. And the fact that it's able to capture that well with the video is so cool. That is awesome. Okay, Let's try some of that next. Ooh, petting the kitty. Yeah. Oh, there you go. Rhapsody included a picture of my cat. That is the cat that's currently laying on Rhapsody's shoulder. My cat is
Yay.
21 years old, and so she's an old girl. Her hips are starting to give out, but when she meows, she really lets you know that she's that old. So we might catch that on the mic, maybe not. With Rhapsody here, probably not. She's probably just gonna relax on Rhapsody for the rest of the stream.
Yeah.
But
She's
that's
completely silent when she's around me, and we love each other.
y'all. And you did a retexture of that. That's awesome. So let's get into retexture really quick, and also get into what it's like to run videos of your own images. So let's see. Oh, she's just chilling on the shoulder spot. Right, yeah. She loves that spot. I will say that the only thing is that if you do have facial hair, she will prefer you if you do. Basically, if she has to choose between two people, if there's especially a lot of facial hair in the person, she'll gravitate towards that because she rubs on the face and uses it as a comb. So the let's see here. All right, now we have this cleaned up image of Raps waving at Victor. We can easily use that as a panel in a comic or whatever we want to do. Right? It's very cool. I love this. Oh my god, so cute. Right, right. So if we now take a one of the images that we got from our mood boards here, I want to kind of explain a little more of our trip, perhaps, because I feel like we just did a big demo, and I feel like there's probably a couple more stories that we have to share. Is there anything that you want to share? It gives me a chance to sip on a drink here if you do.
What do I want to share? It's just so many things that happened, so many cars that are just almost destroyed and still driving.
Yeah,
I don't know.
the weather here will definitely the more north you get, the more just like dilapidated, rusted cars you catch. That's for sure.
I mean, we already talked about the Indian food place. We visited a place that we're not gonna talk about.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That was a show.
Um,
So, but I love. Oh yeah. There's one. Do you have the image from the tower that we were able to see from like the porch of our Airbnb
yeah,
with the skeleton?
yes, I do. It's inside the. Here it is. Yeah. Let
Oh
me.
yeah, the first one. This is just so crazy. Like we arrived there and we just stood there and looked outwards, and there's just a skeleton hanging. Like that was the welcome to Chicago. Like
Uh,
it's a very artsy city, and I personally love the buildings and like the wooden staircases. And in total, I feel like I love it more than New York. Like New York was okay, but Chicago is great. And then there's just a skeleton, and later the rainbow after the storm. And also, that was one of the most magical moments I think I had so far here, just sitting outside and watching like the lightning storm roll over Chicago. It's crazy.
yeah, that double rainbow was real nuts. In fact, I believe I have a better
Oh yeah.
picture of it inside of here, or did I get rid of that? Let me see. Is
I
that
have
not?
some. I can post one.
Yeah, go ahead and post it because I'm not seeing it on my list here without dragging and dropping it. An aspect of Chicago, by the way, that I don't think a lot of people know about, or at least it spooked the crap out of my partner the first time he went to Chicago, is that a huge chunk of downtown is actually underneath like it's basically underground. It's more like they've built a second layer or maybe even three layers of the city. So like when you're driving underneath it, I remember we turned on the bridge. I don't know what bridge it was, but we turned on from basically a basement onto a bridge over a river into another basement. It's a trip. So Chicago is a trippy city. I'll say that. Let's see here. Yeah, and the reason we took this picture was because we just crossed the bridge, and there's a single channel of light, natural light, coming in here. I feel like if someone was into like healthy living, they would never design a city like this in terms of like the traveling side. So, what is this? Leave voice. Someone has been. Okay, never mind. Never mind. Stay here. Okay, all right. So
Image incoming. There's the double rainbow. Yeah, that was just trippy. I don't know. Some parts of it just felt so real.
yeah, it was a trip, especially if you're familiar with the double rainbow meme. Yeah, double rainbow. What does it mean? Rest in peace, dude. We all miss you. What is it? Yeah, that is such a classic meme. That I feel like that's like a 2010 meme. I forgot how old that one is. Okay, let's see here. What else? What else? What else? What else? Let's take a look at the rest of VC Create and get an idea of what you guys have been doing here. And then we are probably going to do the show after the show after around 6 o'clock today. We're like I said, we're cutting things a little earlier today, just because I want to make sure I have a nice long dinner with Rhapsody before she flies out for 24 hours back to Germany. So let's see here. Also, everything closes here. Like I live in a small town around Lake Superior. It's we don't stay open for very long. But let's see here. The Passing Train on the Tracks by.
And by the way,
Yeah.
Lake Superior is fucking cold.
Yeah, it is very cold. It is certainly very cold. Wicked cold, actually. And we went. In fact, I am still in my swim trunks right now. And it is very cold. If you're, I did not warn Rhapsody at all ahead of this at all. I probably should have. But but yeah, she just dived right. You didn't dive right in. We walked right in, but it was very cold. Yeah, don't worry. The lake here would have been cold too. Yeah. Lake Michigan, but Lake Superior is like probably 1 or 2 degrees colder. Not much. Very cold though. That's neat though with the
It's
graffiti.
not unbearingly cold, but it has a pretty steep temperature drop off underwater, which made me not want to go diving.
Twist and shout. Okay, what are you showing here? From Reveille.
Oh, that's cool.
That is cool. I'm just taking over. We could actually try to do an external video right now. So let's go ahead and grab this image. Hit copy image address. And then let's say inside of Discord here. Oops, I'm going to scroll all the way down because we do have some stuff to catch up on. Plenty of prompts from you guys. I'm going to scroll through these before the stream ends or anything like that. But jump to present. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit /imagine. And then I'm going to paste the image. And then I'm going to describe what I want to see in the video. So we're going to say that this is a parade float with people dancing on it. And then write hyphen video. And if we wanted to include an end frame, we could, but we don't need it for this. We're just going to see what this image does on its own. Is there a parameter for HD? I was curious about that, actually, Ancient.
Not yet, but there will be.
Okay, cool. All right, so we're just going to run this as video for now. Midjourney bot is thinking. Look at it, it's thinking. And whatever aspect ratio is in the image will be the aspect ratio that's used for the video itself. So let's see what this does. I made sure to turn myself on fast mode instead of turbo in order to get this done. Urban fantasy screen grab. While this is rendering, I'm just gonna read this one because it's cool to see all these like mega trees in the background of Chicago. Urban fantasy screen grab. One subject, an urban frost giant wearing a tracksuit and standing on the outskirts of Chicago while looking in a giant glowing and flowering Yggdrasil with roots spreading throughout the streets of Chicago in the background. Okay. So you notice that the only thing that it didn't. What? Sorry.
It's Yggdrasil.
Yggdrasil? I don't know how to pronounce that. I just said something.
Yggdrasil.
I just said something. But you notice that the urban frost giant was the only part that was ignored here. It's probably because the mood board includes. It's just going to include real life people, so it's really wanting to encourage you. You might want to in paint that character into there. Tell me what the Midjourney bot is thinking. I trolled for you. There you go. What is he thinking? All right, so we're getting closer. We're getting closer. Let's see. I think the first video is probably going to be the one that does the best, but maybe the last one. We'll see. Just because I'm noticing Victor's kind of disappearing in some of these. So let's see. What do we got? Rhapsody's character is just kind of floating in the scene because I think it's just from the in paint. But the she's walking on the first one, right? But there is certainly I like the movement of Victor the most for the second video. It's just so funny. It's so funny to see the kind of wonkiness that sometimes happens with these sort of like in painted images. But she's like a cheerleader in the fourth one. That's too funny. That's great. But that's how you use an external image. So if you do have an image from like maybe your family or you're on vacation or something like what we were doing, you could do this with any image. I did it with one of the ones you guys in painted, but Victor Bueller's Day Off. Yeah, exactly, exactly. Good one, Kiki. But if I take one of our images here, like we saw that earlier with the fish being done. Actually, because I Trophy did such a great job in the video there, I don't think I really need to demo that because it's just amazing. I think we should feature that somewhere for the stream feature. Is just these fish moving around. I think it's a really cool use of external images for video. Kinky, do you want to do the prompt battle announcements?
Sure thing.
Awesome.
Sorry, I had a mouthful of cookie.
Sorry, I had to do that again in a second.
Thank you for tuning in to the Kinky Minute, my little portion of the Victor Gnarly character workshop. My name's Kinky Kong, and I enjoy every weekend hanging out with you guys for prompt battles. Prompt battles? What's that, you might ask? Well, I'm glad you asked. It's a game where we all play, we all prompt the same challenge for 10 minutes and then come back and bring our images and we put it in something called a poll unit, which makes everything very anonymous. And then we vote on those images and whoever wins gets to choose the next challenge and wins a free fast hour. There are all kinds of ways to win free fast hours during prompt battles, and you make new friends and learn how to do new things and prompt outside your box. We do this for 8 hours, Saturday and Sunday. Saturday is a little bit later and Sunday's a bit earlier. I'll leave you a link so you can see what time it is in your neck of the woods. But I really do hope you show up and visit us and get to know the community because we would love to have you. Yeah, come on down. And I hope that you and Rhapsody enjoy the rest of your visit. Back to you, Victor.
Oh, thank you so much, Kinky. Yeah, that it is something that I just want to thank you guys so much. I would not have met Rhapsody if it wasn't for the opportunities that Ancient and Kinky have provided for me here, and she's turned into one of my best friends through this. It's been such it's such a fun thing to be able to do, but it's also just like it warms my heart. It really does. I really had a great time with Rhapsody, and my partner did too. She was just like, did we like instantly become friends? Is what she told me like last night. So I was like, yes, yeah. It was really great watching my partner drawing with her, and just oh, it was so cool, so cool. Oh, it makes me feel warm and fuzzy inside. It's awesome. And it all just came up because
I'm gonna walk up these stairs.
you're gonna and I just want to say, guys, thank you all so much for everything. It is so much fun to do this, and I cannot wait to get back to things next week too, where it's a little bit more back to making stories with comics and video and everything else. The Gnarly Studio stuff will be digging into fantasy moving on from here. I do have another Sage comic coming out soon too. But that's all my announcements, and thank you guys so much. I'm gonna end the stream here. Be sure to join the show after the show on the Gnarly Studio server, and it's a great way to collaborate with us and for us to get to know you too. So making new friends every time, I feel like. So thank you guys, and thank you Ancient and Kinky for making this happen.
Thank you.
All right, you guys have a good one. See ya.
Good one, everybody.
Wiggle wiggle, everyone wiggle wiggle.
Bye bye.
Bye. Later, guys.